Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing fine. My name is Moinak and in this video I'll give you a detailed solution of the WBPSC Assistant Engineer Civil Examinations which was held in the year 2012. This would be a fully solved paper and this would be a part 1 of a 4-part series. So without wasting any time, let's start the video. First question is compaction refers to a process where compression is affected due to. The answer for this particular question would be reduction of air voids. Compaction is due to the reduction of air voids of soils. The dry density of the particular soil increases because of compaction and it is done by mechanical means. On the other hand, consolidation is expulsion of water from voids. So if the question comes regarding consolidation, the answer would be expulsion of water from voids. Next question is if I is the stadia distance, f the focal length of objective and d is the distance from objective to the vertical axis of the instrument, then the multiplying tachyometric constant will be. It's a very easy question. The distance is given by d equal to ks plus c, where k is the multiplying constant and c is the additive constant. So k or the multiplying constant is given by f by I and the additive constant is given by f plus t. So the answer for this particular question would be f by I. Also note that for analectic lens k is equal to 100 and c is equal to 0. Remember this, a lot of questions are asked from analectic lens as well. The next question is kinematic viscosity is related to dynamic viscosity as. The answer would be A. The answer would be dynamic viscosity by mass density. Also, the unit of kinematic viscosity is meter square per second or centimeter square per second. So this is also asked. The next question, the dimension of coefficient of consolidation is expressed as. Now, we all know the time factor TV is given as CVT by D square, where CV is the coefficient of consolidation, T is the time required for consolidation, and D is the length of drainage path. So, if we consider CV, it is given as TV into D square by T. TV does not have any unit, so D has an unit meter, so meter square per second for time. So the answer would be meter square per second or centimeter square per second. So the answer would be D. The answer would be D. So the dimension of coefficient of consolidation is expressed as centimeter square per second. The next question, the specific energy E in a critical flow at depth YC occurring in a triangular channel is given by. See, for triangular channel it is given by 5 by 4 YC and for rectangular channel it is given by 3 by 2 YC. Another very important question which is asked a lot of times in these examinations. The answer would be A for triangular channel, and if they ask for rectangular channel, the answer would be 3 by 2 YC. Next question, in rigid pavement, the critical location is, see, for rigid pavements, interior, edge as well as corner are all are the critical locations. Now you can see which is the edge part, which is the corner part, and which is the interior part. So all of these parts are very important and we calculate the stresses in each part separately. So in a rigid pavement, the critical location is all the above, interior, edge and corner as well. Now, if an activity has its optimistic time, most likely time, and pessimistic time as 237 respectively, the expected time and variance are. It is just a very easy question. You just need to know the formula. Now, let's know what is optimistic time. Now, optimistic time is nothing but the minimum time under ideal conditions. Most likely time is what? Most likely time is what? Under ordinary conditions. Some things might go right, some things might go wrong. So under ordinary conditions. And pessimistic time is what? Pessimistic time is the maximum time under which under most worst conditions. So considering all of the things go wrong, then it is known as pessimistic time. And expected time is given as T naught plus 4 Tm plus Tp by 6. So just replace the values here and you would get the expected time as 3.5. Now variance is nothing but the square of standard deviation. Variance is nothing but the square of standard deviation, and standard deviation is given by Tp minus T naught by 6 and variance is the square of that. So just replace the values and you would get the answer as 25 by 36. So the answer would be 3.5 and 25 by 36. So the answer for this particular question would be D. Next question, if BOD of a wastewater sample is found as 180 milligram per liter after 5 days at 20 degrees per centigrade, then BOD value for 1 day and same temperature will be. Now we need to find the BOD ultimate in this particular question first. And we have got the K value as well. It is 0.23 per day. Now BOD 5 is given by L naught into 1 minus e to the power minus kt minus kt. So we can find the L naught value over here, which is the ultimate BOD. Just replace the values of K as 0.23 and T as 5 because it is the BOD 5, BOD at 5 days. So we can easily find the BOD ultimate or L naught, which comes out to be 263.4 milligram per liter. Now what we need to do is we need to find the BOD at 1 day. We just need to replace the values of L naught, K and T. Over here T would come out to be as 1. T would come out to be as 1. So the answer would be 54.12 milligram per liter, and the nearest answer in this particular question is B. The answer should be B. Also keep in mind that BOD 5 is almost 0.68 times BOD ultimate, or 2/3 of BOD ultimate. This is also a question that keeps on repeating in examinations. The next question, the decay in timber due to alternate drying and wetting is given by. Now the decay in timber due to alternate wetting and drying is given by wet rot. Is given by wet rot, and also dry rot is caused due to lack of ventilation. Remember, dry rot is caused due to lack of ventilation. Wet rot is due to alternate drying and alternate wet and dry conditions. And also druxiness. Druxiness is the defect which is indicated by white decayed spots, which are concealed by healthy wood. So remember all three, any might come. Now rate of change of bending moment is given by, very easy question, rate of change of bending moment is given by shear force, and also rate of change of shear force is given by loading rate. Rate of change of shear force is given by loading rate. So remember both. The coefficient of earth pressure. The coefficient of earth pressure is defined as, horizontal vertical stress to the vertical effective stress. Horizontal effective stress to the vertical effective stress. So the answer would be D, horizontal effective stress to vertical effective stress. Also, coefficient of earth pressure at rest is given by mu divided by 1 minus mu, where mu is the Poisson ratio. And coefficient of active earth pressure is given by 1 minus sine phi by 1 plus sine phi, and coefficient of passive earth pressure is given by 1 plus sine phi by 1 minus sine phi, where phi is the angle of internal flexion. Remember these as well. Next question, a very easy question from survey. The survey in which curvature of the earth is ignored is known as plane survey. A very easy question, and where it is considered, it is known as geodetic survey. Also, plane survey is conducted for small areas and geodetic survey is considered for large areas. Next question, negative slack occurs when. This is from PERT. Negative slack occurs when. Now slack is nothing but the latest occurrence time minus the earliest occurrence time. So when the slack is greater than 0, that means TL, or the latest occurrence time, is greater than TE, and it is known as subcritical event. In cases of subcritical event, it is ahead of schedule. The activity is ahead of schedule, or the project is ahead of schedule, and extra resources are available in this particular case. For slack equal to 0, TL is equal to TE, which is also known as a critical event. Now over here the resources available is just adequate, just enough so that work could progress on time. And when slack is negative or TL is less than TE, then what happens? It is known as a supercritical event. And activity is lacking resources or time. And it is behind schedule. So when slack is less than 0, there is a deficiency of resource. So the answer would be C. Now the next question, rainfall mass curve shows the variation of. Now if you know the mass curve, you would easily be able to answer it. Rainfall mass curve shows the variation of accumulated precipitation with time. So the answer would be D, cumulative rainfall or accumulated precipitation, the same thing with time. The next question, for transfer of load from one slab to another at any joint of a rigid pavement, the bar used is called. Now the answer is dowel bars. Now let's look at the top view of the rigid pavement surface. Now this part is known as the expansion joints. This is known as the expansion joint. These parts are known as the contraction joints. These are the dowel bars. And the red thing that you see over here are nothing but PVC pipes. These are PVC pipes. These marked in violet are tie bars, and these are the longitudinal bars. Now, longitudinal bars or longitudinal joints are used to account for expansion and contraction in the lateral direction, in this particular direction, the lateral direction. This is used to account for the expansion and contraction in lateral direction. PVC pipes are used for unbonding purpose. PVC pipes are used for unbonding purpose, and dowel bars are used firstly to transfer the load from one slab to another in a rigid pavement, and as well as to reduce the differential deflection, between the slabs. Contraction joints are used or provided to allow contraction of slab when the temperature is decreased, and expansion joints are provided to allow expansion of slab when the temperature increases. So this is the top view of a rigid pavement or the joints. So you can keep this diagram in mind. So whatever question comes from this particular segment, you will be able to answer it. Now the next question is the angle between true meridian. The angle between true meridian and magnetic meridian is known as the magnetic declination. A very easy question is known as the magnetic declination. Now this is the true meridian and this is the magnetic meridian, marked in black, and true meridian is marked in uh, red. Now, declination can be towards east or towards west. When the magnetic meridian is towards the east of the true meridian, it is known as declination east, and when it is towards west, it is known as declination west. The next question, if whole circle bearing of a line of a place is 160 degree 12 minutes, the quadrantal bearing would be. A very easy question. Now, quadrantal bearing or reduced bearing are calculated from north or south direction only, and its value ranges from 0 to 90 degree, whereas whole circle bearing are always calculated from the north direction, and the value or angle varies from 0 to 360 degree. Now 160 degree 12 minutes is somewhere around here. This is the line. So the line would be same in case of quadrantal bearing, and the angle which we need to find is the one which is marked in violet. So this would be 180 degrees minus, what is the angle given here? 160 degree 12 minutes. 160 degree 12 minutes. So the answer here would be 19 degree 48 minutes. Now this line is in which direction? This line is in the southeast direction. This is the southeast direction, and the angle between them would be 19 degrees 48 minutes. So the answer for this particular question is southeast 19 degree 48 minutes. In fact, you don't even need to calculate the value. Just see the values over here. The only southeast option over here is A. So you don't even need to calculate the bearing. Just need to see the options and take the right answer. The next question here is ring and ball test. Ring and ball test is performed to determine. The answer would be softening point of bitumen. The answer would be softening point of bitumen, and softening point is the temperature. Softening point is the temperature at which bitumen attains a particular degree of softening, and also the value lies from 35 to 70 degrees centigrade. The next question is most accurate method of finding the average depth of rainfall over an area is. The answer is isohytl method. Now, in terms of accuracy, isohytl is the best, then comes the Thyssen polygon method, and then comes the arithmetic mean method. So if they ask you what is the least accurate method, you would know the answer is arithmetic mean method. Now, the water content corresponding to maximum dry density is called. Now, if you see the curve, it is from compaction. If you see the curve, the gamma d max, the point at which the question is the water content corresponding to maximum dry density is called. Now the point at which gamma d is maximum, you see, this is known as the optimum moisture content. The water content at which the gamma d is maximum is known as the OMC, or the optimum moisture content. Also, it is given for a given degree of compaction. If the compacting effort is increased, the curve would be something like this, where the gamma d would increase and the optimum moisture content would decrease if the compacting effort is increased. Now the next question is, blue baby disease is caused due to the presence of excess amount of the following pollutant in water. The answer is nitrate. The answer is nitrate, and nitrates, the permissible limit for nitrates is 45 milligram per liter. Also for fluorides, the permissible limits are given here. Fluorine, if less than 1 milligram per liter, it is essential for formation of permanent teeth. It is essential for formation of permanent teeth. If fluorine is greater than 1.5 milligram per liter, then molting or decolorization of teeth occurs. And if fluorine is greater than 5 milligram per liter, then bone fluorosis in adults occur. So you need to know all the three values for fluorides, and for nitrates the permissible limit is 45 milligram per liter, and the disease is blue baby disease if the limit exceeds for nitrates. The next question is the dimension of coefficient of permeability. Very easy question. Now you know Q is given by KIA. K is equal to Q by IA. Now Q has a unit meter cube per second. I is the hydraulic gradient, which is given by change in head divided by the length of travel. So this is dimensionless, and A is given by meter square. Area is given by meter square. So the answer would be meters per second or meter per day, whatever you can call it. So the dimension of coefficient of permeability is given by meter per day. The next question, a circular plate of diameter D is submerged in water vertically so that the topmost part is just at the water surface. The center of pressure of the plate will be below the water surface at a depth of. Now, center of pressure is given by H, H bar. H bar is nothing but the CG from the free water surface. So H bar is the CG plus IG. IG is area moment of inertia about centroidal axis divided by area into CG. So you just replace the values. Here the center of gravity is d by 2 plus pi d to the power 4 by 64 is the area moment of inertia. And area is given by pi d square by 4, and again the center of gravity is d by 2. So you just need to calculate the values, and the answer would come out to be as 5d by 8. The answer is 5d by 8. Answer is A, 5d by 8. Also, you should remember the standard cases for triangles where the vertex is in the downward direction. Where the vertex is in the direct downward direction, the center of pressure is at a distance of h by 2 from the free water surface. The center of pressure is h by 2. And for a triangle with vertex upwards, the center of pressure is given by 3h by 4. And for a rectangle, the center of pressure is given by 2h by 3. So remember the standard cases as well. They might ask you any. The next question, in BERT technique, the critical path has slack equal to. The answer is always 0. This is just a example that I have given you. So in the top portion you see it is written like this: TE by TL for each event. So TA is the earliest expected time and TL is the latest occurrence time. Now you can see I have marked in green the critical path. 1, 3, 4, 5 is the critical path. Now you would ask, why is 1, 3, 5 not a critical path? So for a critical path, there are two conditions that need to be fulfilled. Head and tail events of activity has to have a slack which is equal to 0, and has to satisfy the backward and forward calculation. For 136, the activity 36 is not satisfying the forward and backward calculation, hence it's not the critical path. So you remember slack has to be 0, so it has to be a in order to it become a critical path, the slack has to be 0. Now the next question, if the CBR corresponding to 2.5 millimeter penetration is lower than 5 millimeter penetration, then CBR corresponding to 2.5 millimeter penetration is adopted. CBR corresponding to 5 millimeter penetration is adopted. Test is repeated. Test is discarded. Now let's see. CBR value is given by the maximum of CBR 2.5 and CBR 5. But generally what happens is CBR at 2.5 millimeter penetration is greater than CBR at 5 millimeter penetration. But if CBR 5 is greater than CBR 2.5, then the test is repeated again. And if in the second test as well, the higher value will be adopted as CBR value. So in the second test again, if CBR 5 comes out to be larger than CBR 2.5, then we will consider the CBR at 5. So the right answer for this particular question is the test should be repeated. If this is the first test, the test should be repeated, and in the second test again, if similar trends follow, then what we would do, we would consider the CBR at 5 millimeter penetration. So these were the 25 questions that I've solved for WBPSC Assistant Engineer 2012 examinations, and I hope you like this video, and if you like the content of this video, do share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any updates. Thanks for watching and stay safe, study hard, but study smart. Thank you.